Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Real Shit Let's Talk podcast. Today, man, listen, I had the pleasure of meeting my family, my MMU mate, doing this entrepreneurship like no other. Miss Bree, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. So listen, we were talking real quick. Let's get into it. We talking about, hey, how this entrepreneurship check is pending.
It's processing.
You know, what does that look like? What does a check like that looks like for you?
I mean, if I'm manifesting, it looks great. But if I'm being honest, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Okay. It hurts.
It hurts.
Does it hurt worse than your love life?
Oh, my love life is great.
Okay.
My love life is great.
Okay. So the money, you do the little thing. Calculate.
I don't even know when you're supposed to actually do that. Like, what is it?
I don't know.
Is it like a?
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Definitely. So what is that you do? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a health and fitness coach.
Okay.
I coach mainly entrepreneurs and business owners how to balance health and fitness through exercise, through nutrition, through mobility, custom programming. I do it online and in person.
Okay. And do you think that you're going to do this for life or?
Absolutely.
Okay. So how important is health to us? Or is it to is it to the genre of black and white or women and men? What do you?
So it's very important to everybody.
Okay.
When I'm coaching, I would say that it's probably mainly geared towards women, black women.
Okay.
But what I do is for everybody.
Okay.
Everybody needs it.
What do you find most effective, online or in person?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
It depends on the person. And I mainly work with business owners and entrepreneurs, so schedules are crazy. And I never want anybody to feel like they have to work around my schedule because I'm not the trainer that's getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning anymore. I'm not doing that. So if you need to work out early or if you need to be able to work out on your schedule. So I don't want you not being able to meet up with me in person to be an excuse for you not to do what you have to do.
Basically take ownership and accountability, basically.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. What has been the one lesson that you've learned about people in this whole transition?
The one lesson that I've learned is there's always an excuse. And I think that's with anything, with business, with workouts, with health. There's always going to be an excuse. But mainly when it comes to black women business owners, you're always taking care of somebody else and end up putting yourself on the back burner, and that's your excuse. Like, oh, well, this needs to get handled first, and I have to do this first, and everything else comes first instead of your own health and wellness.
And so then, when that happens, is that just for working moms? You said entrepreneurship, but there's working moms too. You think they take over, but being more caliber to what has to be done versus what they need to get done?
For sure, yeah. That's corporate. That's stay-at-home moms. That's people that don't have kids. That's people that are just running a business. That's everybody.
Your kids?
Women tend to do that. I do not have. I have 2 dogs, if that counts.
Okay. What's their name?
Tito and Zoe.
How old are they?
Tito is going to be 4.
Okay.
And then, no, I'm sorry. Tito is about to be 3 on May 7th. And then Zoe is about to be 2. She'll be 2 in October.
All right. Now, does these dogs provide comfort for you?
Yeah, they're my babies.
Okay. Do you want kids?
Eventually.
Eventually, not now.
No, it's not really. I wouldn't say it's a priority for me right now, but.
What's your top priority?
Growing a multi-million-dollar business.
All right. What does that look like? I'm just curious since, this Bree, I'm excited. So go ahead.
This looks like me growing a multi-million-dollar business means health and fitness. I've always wanted to open up a facility.
Okay.
So I've always wanted it to be a combination of athlete training and then coaching my regular clients, like my business owners' clients, but it kind of being an all-in-one. So making sure that you can come and you can get in the sauna, you can get a chiropractor if you need it, you can get nutrition guidance, you can get massage therapy, all of those things provided for everybody. And then that I also do events. So I call them recharge events every quarter. So hosting the events and just bringing people together and making sure that everybody has all the resources that they need.
That's awesome. And so do you ever see yourself let's say coaching Donnie by chance? Would you do her? Or do you have any particular person that you want to actually coach?
I want to get back to training my athletes. That's my main goal. But I wouldn't necessarily say, like, I would train Donnie. Donnie's like a higher corporate, I mean, not corporate, I mean, a entrepreneur, business owner, like higher level type of client. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's just athletes are probably my passion.
Right. Do you ever, like, how do you advertise? How do you get out there?
Social media,
Okay.
Instagram mainly,
Instagram mainly. Okay.
events.
Okay. Would you say you wanted to grow this multi-million-dollar business? Does it ever affect your personal life?
Maybe, but I'm a very, I wouldn't say closed off, but my social battery runs out pretty fast anyway. So I'm like,
What? But you want to be in front of all these people.
I know, but that's different though.
All
That's
right,
different.
explain.
When it's for my business and I'm serving my clients and I'm providing a service, like a top tier service, that's different than wanting to go out and be social. I'm in the house by 9 p.m.
What?
So I don't know that that's specifically because of my business though. That's what I mean. I feel like that's just who I am. I don't know that my business affects my personal life like that.
Okay, so but right now you were saying something previously. You said that you used to work a full-time job, and then you quit. What was that transition like, and why did you quit?
So there's a few reasons. I actually had two jobs. So I was working at Topgolf in the sales office. That was my full-time corporate, my 9 to 5. Even it was like 12 to 8 more so. And then I also worked at Lifetime. So that was my part-time. I was there in the mornings training clients. And it just, I don't know, it wasn't satisfying for me. It wasn't fulfilling enough. It was money for sure, consistent money, which not mad at that, but that transition came, I'd left Lifetime because I knew I wanted to start my own business, and that was eventually going to be something that held me back from growing my own business because I can't work for a corporate company like Lifetime and also build my own. So that's where that came from. I quit that in, I believe it was December of the year before, December of 23. And then I ended up quitting Topgolf, and that was just, it's kind of like, you know when you get in a pool and you get out and it's cold,
Right.
and then you try to get back in the pool and you're like, this is not the same. You know,
Right.
it just don't feel right. It's cold. I just didn't want to get back in the pool.
And so that button, like, it just clicked in your head, and you was like, you know what, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah.
So would you say that feeling of knowing that you're about to make a life-changing decision, how this would affect everybody else or things around you?
Yeah. So actually, let me go back a little bit. The pool kind of scenario, my boyfriend plays basketball overseas. So I went to visit him in Poland.
Okay.
And I took like a month leave of absence.
Okay.
So when I took that month leave of absence and I was going to come back in February, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay.
And I had conversations, like I'm still close with the people that I worked with there, and it just, I don't know, it wasn't for me anymore.
Okay. I like that. And so, well, shout out Poland basketball.
Shout out.
You know, do you see, well, first, congratulations. I need to say that.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You made a decision. You had a choice, but you made a decision and you stuck by it. Whether it looked good, whether it looked bad, you stuck by it. And then it sounds like you have a good support system. I feel like that's a really important thing to have, a good support system. And it's like outside of your mom, outside of your dad, outside of your brothers and sisters. It's got to be that other person. And it necessarily don't have to be like a significant other, but like somebody that you can go and confide in, or that can give you some type of extra, like, say, hey, you should do it. Go for it.
Right.
I'm here to support you.
Yeah.
I think too, within the entrepreneurship space, we're still learning. We're always adapting. Like today, for me, the change is this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm usually then a little bit different setup, but with you know, Chop House Media Group, he's always pushed me to the next level. You know, and I've learned that like along the way I had to take accountability, and so accountability for me is always upgrading, always going to a new level of things. Like, this is so different, but I like it. And it's no matter what it took to get here, I actually enjoyed the whole way around it. Now, with them funds pending, that'd be the hard part, because you'd be like, oh, the money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Money don't come, and you'd be like, damn. But like, I try to follow too, like the story brand thing, what we're reading in the MMU.
Yeah.
As I looked at that, I was thinking about it. I was like, yo, we got to tell more stories. People, there are more people, and I was really excited that you reached out to me, and I was really excited. Just want to let you know that too. But I also knew that, like, one of the things is that we all have a story. We just got to figure out how to tell it to the world. How do we share and convey that message? Because what year are you born?
97.
Okay, so I'm definitely older than you. But I'll say this: it's just that, like, people of a female or of a male, we don't get the chance to really talk.
Yeah.
Everybody's just ads, commercials, and I think that you took that leap of faith, so it's really good. Are you liking this book that we're reading?
Yeah.
Okay. And how have you used that? Has using any of those steps made you increase you to the next level by chance?
I would say it's a work in progress.
Okay.
For sure. I think the main takeaway so far is making sure that I'm not representing myself as the hero. And the book talks a lot about the client is the hero. The person buying the service is the hero. And how do I make sure that I'm presenting them that way? And that's kind of hard when it comes to health and fitness specifically, because they want you to save them. They want you to make sure that you're the one holding them accountable. Like, you're telling them what to do. You're on them constantly. So that's hard to kind of shift that perspective. But really, like, talking to my current clients and making that shift and kind of transitioning those conversations and making sure that they understand this is your responsibility at the end of the day. I'm going to give you the guidance and the tools that you need. But at the end of the day, you got this either way. So those are the conversations.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
We don't make excuses. We make it happen.
Exactly.
Okay. So, what is your trajectory by the end of this year? Will you meet where your quota that you feel like you should be?
I have no doubt that I will. Am I on track right now from Q1? No, but I stay positive about it. There are tough times, and I kid you not, I would say maybe 2 weeks ago is when I actually started getting in a better mental health space, because I was not in the best space when it comes to that. Just like reflecting on everything that's happened in Q1. Not that it, nothing tragic or anything like that, but just not being where I wanted to be was really messing with me. It was hard, but
I agree. I feel like it's one of those things too. I'm glad you mentioned it. It's like, it's good that we actually have that moment where we have to self-reflect. And you own it.
Yeah.
And now that you're, like I said, my Q1, horrible. Definitely not on track. But keeping those positive people, for me, it's about positive people around me. Keeping that positive energy. Even, like I said, we hear a bunch of no's, or we're like, why did you do that? Or, it's about having balance. I mean, I'm more of a balanced guy, so I'm a Libra. So I care more about balance.
Okay.
And because I don't like the seesaw effect, which is when we're up, and then when we're down, we're down. I need to waver and level that out. I think too, one of the other books I would say, man, I'm reading this book. It's Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, and that right there is diabolical. It just keeps you on the edge of your seat. Okay. It just talks about, like, how to be a better negotiator, and how to, at times when things don't meet, never split the difference on what you stand for. You know,
like that. I'm gonna have to add that one to the list.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I'm gonna recommend it to David though. I was like, yo, y'all need to put this one in there. It's fire. Also, I know, like, Atomic Habits and all this other stuff. I like
I'm
books.
reading that one now.
Right. But see, like, I like to do, for me, I like to keep that balance where, like, 'cause I don't watch TV. So I have to read or listen to Audible, and then it's just going in my mind. It's like, oh my God, I got so much information.
Right.
And it's like, sometimes I think too, when we see, like, the gurus and we see the people on social media saying what they know how to talk about, whatever, it's like, did you read this in a book or did you just put two and two together?
Yeah.
And what I've learned is that, and you can say that as this is, you might read a book and it's really good, but everything in that book is not applicable to you.
Yeah.
You have to take out, as they say, eat the meat, spit out the bones, type of a deal. What is one of your favorite books that you've read and that I had to apply and it's been for you?
Honestly, right now, what I'm reading is I'm reading Atomic Habits right now. And I think this is the first time where I'm reading a book and I'm actually reflecting on how can I implement this today. I
Okay.
kind of read just, somebody recommended the book, so I read it or I listened to the audio, and I kind of just was like, okay, now what? And now after every chapter, I'm actually sitting down and thinking like, okay, how does this apply to me? How does this apply to my clients? How can I relate this to my business? So I think I need to go back and do that with all the other books. But with
Okay.
Atomic Habits right now, I think that one is really, and that's also like what you said about the gurus. Like, do they just know that, or is it they read it in a book and they're implementing? And I really figured out that I think that's what they're doing. They're literally getting the information and applying it as soon as possible. What David always says, what do you say? Limit the time between idea and execution.
Right.
So you're reading this, you're getting the ideas, you're getting the information. Now execute as soon as possible. That's really what I think all of the gurus are doing, and that's what I'm making sure that I do, and reading more books.
Right. I'm on track to do that myself. And I'm glad you said that because I just need to mental note that part and do it. I think too, like for me, I've made 2 months worth of working out consistently.
Okay.
I do my 6 a.m. I'm a 6 a.m. workout person.
Okay.
I feel like if you go and get it done, you go get it done versus I'm going to do it this afternoon. Or now, if you have a job, of course, and you can say, hey, when I get out, I'm going to go work out and stay consistent like that, then that's cool too. And I feel like what I've learned, I got my compliment yesterday, so I just want to say that I was happy. It looks like I've been working out, you know what I'm saying? But it does something. Like I also had to learn something. I was telling the coach at the gym, I was telling him that this is my like sanctuary. Like when I come here to work out, I can be clear in my head. And then he said something, and he was saying, "But don't let this become idol for you." And then I was like, I had to think about that. And what does idle look like? I mean, I'm working out. I'm getting stronger. I'm eating better. I'm not X, Y, and Z. And I had to ponder on it. And I had to pray on it. I feel like a lot of things that we don't understand in this world is that we don't pray. And I received like the answer to my own problem by praying. I feel like sometimes too, and writing it down, and like you have to see it, like get it out your head, put it on paper, and then once I say, I was like, God, am I being idle? Because when I go, like if I'm not at the gym, I'm working, I'm thinking about my problems, I'm thinking about everything else that's going on. But when I'm in the gym, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters but the gym.
Right.
And so now with that in itself, I would say that like I am on track to becoming a better version of me in this second quarter. And now the third quarter is going to definitely look a lot different, feel a lot different, because again, I got a goal before Podcast Summit. So my goal is 50 pods shot by Podcast Summit, which can be done. So I'm going to hold that, and then, but good ones, you know what I'm saying?
How many do you have now?
30.
Okay.
I'll be like 32.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm on track. But now, like you said, these entrepreneurship funds be pending, and you'd be like,
And a little too long.
right. You'd be like, hey, can somebody just write an invisible check and just tell me to cash it?
Please.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I want. Just a little bit.
Not asking too much.
Just
Not asking.
1 mil, you know?
Yeah.
1 mil, you know, it's easy.
It's easy.
So, when I look at it though, man, I look at how everybody and how we talk on the morning meetup, and I notice that like you very boisterous, you speak up, you ask questions, and like Auntie Shaky and all of them answer questions. I like, man, I sit off in the cut. I be looking and I ask a question every now and then because I like studying what you guys have already done because it doesn't make sense for me to ask the question. Like that somebody just said, well, I got a barbershop and I just want to start my community. All right, he already told us how to start a community. Just execute.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that, what you said though, when you apply the knowledge and execute, I feel like my turnover rate has been better. It's like I like a coach, shout out to Rich. He told me you have momentum. And when you got momentum, you got to keep going. Because sometimes if you don't keep going with the momentum that you already have, you become stagnant.
Yeah.
Do you feel that at some point through this quarter, you became stagnant?
Yes. For sure. But going back to what you said about the gym being your sanctuary, that's one reason why I don't train clients in the morning, because that's when I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself.
Okay.
I can't preach to my clients, make sure that you're prioritizing yourself and doing these things. And there's a lot of opportunity there for sure to do that. And I get reminded of that a lot. But I'm working on that, but that's part of my sanctuary. And when I feel out of place with that, that's when I start to feel like, I'm not moving forward anymore. And I think it was Donnie Wiggins that said, when you have momentum, it feels like you should slow down when you really should build off of that. Keep going. Like, just because you have momentum doesn't mean that you've hit your goal. So as soon as you have that momentum and things are going your direction, you're doing the things, keep going, keep working at it. And I think it's hard to realize what that momentum is all the time, because momentum may not be monetarily. It may be you're building more connections. It may be you're learning more, you're getting more education. That's still momentum. It just may not look how you want it to look in that moment. So that doesn't mean that you just kind of take a step back. And I feel like that's what I did when I was in that terrible mental space. I feel like I was just kind of like, nothing is working. I don't want to do this anymore. Not I don't want to do this anymore, but I feel like I should change how I'm doing this, instead of, actually going back and getting the data. Like, am I supposed to change this? What does this look like? And I kind of just sunk and just got, I didn't reflect enough, and I didn't take enough action in that moment. And now I'm getting back to where I'm seeing what's going on, and I'm taking action. I'm getting the data and not going off of emotion.
Okay, gotcha. Let me ask you this. During your tough time going through your mental health stage, what were the 3 factors that helped you shift your mindset?
My boyfriend had a lot to do with that, if I'm being honest.
All right, shout out to boyfriend.
Yes, shout out to my man. That's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man.
Good.
But I think that just him being in my corner and not allowing me the space that I needed, but not allowing me to like sink too far into it helped.
Right.
So it's like just the right amount of accountability and comfort. So that helped a lot. And then what I tell my clients a lot is just kind of allow yourself to rest. There's a difference between resting and being lazy.
Okay.
Feeling stuck versus being still. There's a huge difference between that, and just kind of raising your level of awareness to know where you are in that place and acting accordingly. So I allowed myself to rest. I allowed myself to not go to the gym and not feel guilty about it. I allowed myself to watch TV for a little bit of time instead of feeling like I have to binge watch all these YouTube videos, like information overload. So like allowing my body and my mind to just kind of take a moment and just be, instead of feeling like I have to go here, I have to do this, this has to get done by this time, and just kind of knowing the difference to where it's okay, tighten up, we need to start doing some stuff, versus it's okay to kind of just relax in this moment.
Awesome. So you took action, and now you're back better than ever.
I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? Bold, beautiful, and everything else that goes along. And again, you had somebody in your corner that understood in how to speak your love language. How important is that to you, love language wise?
That, honestly, he's shown me how important it is, because I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So I didn't know the things that he does for me and gives me. I didn't know I needed that until he was the one that actually paid attention and listened and kind of just moved accordingly to what I needed in that moment. I didn't know. Still hard. Like, it's still conversations where I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But it's like because he cares. So he's actually paying attention rather than doing what he thinks he should do. He's actually paying attention to how I respond to certain conversations.
Right.
How I respond to certain actions that he does. Like, it's just unreal, honestly.
That's what I'm talking about. So we hear wedding bells coming.
I mean, at some point.
At some point,
At some point, for sure.
whatever. I'm just going, just riding the wave.
Yeah, we got to get that bank accountant before that.
But he overseas, so he got some overseas money.
But me personally, I feel like I need to be able to be in the right position.
Okay.
I trust him, and I know that he's going to do what he has to do as a man, and I appreciate him and I respect him for that. But I also feel like I need to have my shit together.
Okay, and why is that? Why is that important for a woman to have her shit together in the relationship, and not just letting him? You could be the housewife and she could work from home or whatever, and let him. Why is that important for a woman to have her shit together?
You gotta emphasize that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think for me, it's just in my nature.
Okay.
My mother is a single mother of 3. She's always worked hard. She's always provided and never made an excuse. So I, number one, feel like it's disrespectful for her. It's disrespectful to her to just sit back and chill. And then I also feel like it's taking advantage of that good man, Savannah. It's taking advantage of that good man. Because I feel like, yes, he will do that. He will provide and he will do what he has to do. But it just feels very like I'm taking advantage of just sitting back and being like, you got it. And then there's also things that I want to do too. Like there's also things that I want that I don't feel like should be on him. Like if I want to take a trip, he can take care of all of this stuff. And if I want to go take a trip somewhere and we doing this, I should be able to do my part instead of just being like, I want this. Because if there's something I want, I got to get it.
Okay.
Like I've always been like that.
So it's like that. It's like almost a 50-50, but it's still where to be self-sufficient, to be independent, while still building blocks towards your relationship so that you can move to the next level.
Right.
And then basically, his mom, your mom, whatever, they like each other, and then you keep building. Okay, I like that for you, man. I like that. That sounds awesome. Let me ask you this. Do you meal prep?
I off and on. I need to do better about it, but I'm not a person that likes cooking very much.
I'm
working on it for that good man. I'm working on it for that good man.
Can you cook?
I can make stuff.
You know what this sounds like, right?
I can make stuff.
Boiling the bag rice and heating up some hot dogs.
Listen, rice in a bag hit sometimes. Let's be honest. You got to add the seasonings. You add the seasonings to that rice.
Not adding the seasonings.
I can make stuff, and I'm working on some different meals.
Spaghetti don't count.
I got like 3 signature meals that I can make. That's like not the chicken Alfredo. In college, you just make chicken Alfredo for the man. But now, you got to up it a little bit.
Ramen noodles?
A little broccoli in there or something.
Little broccoli? Broccoli and the ramen noodles. That's
No,
diabolical.
I'm talking about the Alfredo. No. I think I haven't had ramen noodles lately. No, I lied. But I didn't buy them. When I had it, I didn't buy them.
Okay.
They were just,
Yeah, it just happens. It's those moments.
Yeah.
And we have those moments. And I feel like this now going in this entrepreneurship journey, it's like, you can't eat what you wanted to eat. We be like, yo, I want to go to like PF Chang's. I want to go to J. Alexander or want a good steak dinner or something like that. Well, I don't eat beef or pork, so just put it out there. Okay. But you have to eat that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, those little salads, and then be like, oh, man, one day.
Yeah, one day.
It's going to be. But do you have like a lot of entrepreneurship friends?
Yes and no. I have friends that have aspirations, but I wouldn't necessarily say that entrepreneurship is their goal.
Okay.
They have side hustles and things that they enjoy doing, but I don't think, like, I've made friends in the community.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
But
I see your live was going crazy. You know what I'm
I
saying?
definitely have friends and resources in the community, but I wouldn't say that any of my friends are true entrepreneurs.
Cool, cool, cool.
But they respect me and they appreciate my journey and they support my journey.
Right.
They definitely are very encouraging of my entrepreneurship journey, but it's not necessarily for them.
Definitely, I like it a lot. Do you ever plan on writing a book about your life?
See, I didn't,
Okay.
but then I have considered doing it.
All right.
It's one of those things where it's like nobody actually, going back to the storybook, like nobody cares. Like nobody truly gives a shit about your story. Like they don't really care that much. They just want to know what you can do for them. So it's like I can write a couple ebooks that'll help you do that. And I can throw a little information in there, make you feel
Little chat GPT
yeah,
it down, you know, little sauce, little
give a little info here and there, But actually, at the end of the day, they don't give a shit.
Cool, I got you. What would you tell the younger version of yourself?
Manage your money better. Manage your money better. Learn that. I honestly feel like that is a huge part of why I am in the position that I'm in right now. Because I just, like I said, if there's something I want, I get it. And if it's in that account, it might overdraft, but it's going to go through. Shout out to Chase.
Shout out to Chase.
Shout out to Chase.
Overdraft.
That overdraft.
Overdraft.
I got 48 hours to get it back in there before I get a fee.
This is what.
So
It
you
went
just hope and pray. You just okay. We
through.
good.
That green light go through.
You see that little check. You're like, all right.
Hey,
Good.
listen. I don't.
There's been a couple times where it didn't go through. I'm like, oh, hold on. Let me. I'll be right back. Let me get up out of here because that did not go through.
Let me move. When my savings account starts talking to my checking account,
Yeah,
and I
both
be
of them, they both just in there, just like, what the hell is going on in here? What are we doing? What are we doing?
what is going on? But yeah, I think that's really interesting. I'm learning that too. Mm-hmm. That's like say when I hear you talk about the money aspect of things, I think mismanaging some of the funds I could have done better too. Mm-hmm. So you're not alone. So don't think that you are. But I know that on the other side of things, yeah, there's hope for us.
Yeah.
And we'll get that card, the gold card, the platinum or whatever, and just
It's coming. It's coming.
and that's what I think too. Like I feel that's like, oh, I got the money. Oh my gosh, it's on a card. But I've learned that sometimes in this era that God like is only preparing you for the next level, but it's what you do at the lower level. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we do want the A to Z lifestyle or the A to Z like funds, but then what are we really doing with it?
Yeah.
Are we giving back to our community? Mm-hmm. Are we investing in it so that it can make us money? Whatever it is that we do, we just got to make better money decisions.
And that's the thing. Like I used to think so much like I need to have it first,
right,
to manage it better, and that's the complete wrong way. Because if you can't manage what you got, then as soon as you get more, then it's just gonna go the same exact way. So that's why I say I feel like that's a huge part of why I'm not where I want to be. Mm-hmm. But shout out to Che Willis. Wealth is a journey. Che is gonna help me with my budget and hold me accountable and do all of the things that I need to help me manage my money.
Okay.
And get me to the M's. Let's go.
All right. Shout out. Hey, shout out Chase.
Hey,
he good though. That's a brother from another mother. Yeah, he's a cool guy. I like him. You really growing. You're growing. Like I feel like you said, as I say, wealth is a journey.
Wealth is a journey.
But you're doing it in stages, mm-hmm. and you are on track to be, that millionaire. Yeah. Big business. Maybe we can get $1 or $2 from you. Like, hey, we need that $1 or $2, or the boil in the bag of rice.
Give back to the community. Don't see. We got to get out of that. We growing. Yes. We growing.
We growing.
The season is not gonna do it every time. With that.
Yeah,
they help.
That Lowry's though does help. But anyway,
that Creole.
Slap your mama. I'll say this: do you have brothers and sisters that look up to you?
Ooh, I have brothers and sisters, younger brothers and sisters. I have a brother and a sister on my mother's side, and then a brother and sister on my father's side as well. And it's always been a thing. I don't know that they look up to me because I didn't make good decisions before. I mean, I feel like I made decent decisions.
Okay,
like,
what's not a good
I wasn't
decision?
in jail or anything like that.
Oh, okay. I was just saying you're a criminal.
No, but it also was kind of like I don't know. It just wasn't really much to look up to. I didn't think at that time.
All right, what about now? What are they looking up to?
Now they see a broke entrepreneur. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to use that.
Right, because broke is a state. Right, it's
I'm
a
not
state of
supposed to use that
mindset.
verbiage. They see a growing entrepreneur.
Okay.
And they've seen my events. They've seen the things that I do. So I don't know. That's a maybe.
You don't talk about it. You don't really talk about it to them.
They have their own lives. They have their own lives.
So then again, now is family? Is it worth it? Family?
For sure.
I'm
extremely close with my mother, my brother, and my sister. Like that. Those three.
Okay.
I told you my mother is a single mother of three. We all like those are my people.
Okay.
However, I will say that we're all still very closed off. So we all have our own lives, we all have our own stories, but it's not like we're not very open or like that.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Well, like I said, I mean, hopefully.
But I love them. I go to war for them for sure.
Okay. All right. Hey,
I don't play about them.
she crashed heads about her family.
Play about them.
And we out here.
On
Okay.
either side. I don't play.
Oh, on either side. My bad.
Brothers and sisters, both sides. I don't play about them.
Hey, she don't play about her family. That's good, man. But like, you sound like to be a real personal person. You sound like you like family oriented if you need to be. And you said, like I said, something you just mentioned, you kind of said it, but undid it. It's like, hey, they see a broke entrepreneur, but that's like broke is only the state of the mindset of the person who does not believe or lack their faith.
Right. Yeah.
And so once we do change our mindset and say, hey, so one of my mantras is I'm attracted to money. Money's attracted to me abundantly. It comes to me in all shapes, fashions, and forms. It could be a dime today and it can be 20 mil tomorrow. It's going to come. I'm in the room with a CEO, so I must transform my mindset to think like a CEO, become the CEO that I see in others. When I look myself in the mirror, I am the change that I want to see outside
Come on,
and inside.
affirmations.
Yeah, that's me.
Come
you know
on,
what I'm saying? It just you know. But listen, I have to say this, and it's always good to be able to call on that person though.
Yeah.
To talk to or to hear, because you never know what another person's going through. And so with that mantra that I did say, I also like said, shout out my kids. I love them because I watched them grow and they achieve so much, things that are younger, but they achieve so much. And it's like my, one of my oldest, he's Colin Brand. And like he shouted me out on TikTok, and I was just like, bro, I felt like I won the lottery when he did that. You know what I'm saying? And then he got a sample, and now he's just going crazy.
Yeah.
My other, it's like he's just wants to be like a YouTuber and a gamer and all this other stuff. And then after that, it's just like then I got another little one, but just growing up and learning. They inspire me to be better.
Yeah.
And that's what when you do have kids and you get to that stage, like I said, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because they grow up fast.
Yeah. Definitely heard that quite a bit.
And definitely like plan it. And keep cheering you on. And sometimes I say this too, if you ever just feel like you getting down, just hit that real shit let's talk button. Like I said, I want to open up that door and communicate. And then, because I think, like I said, something that David always mentioned, we have a community for a reason. And we need to start utilizing these tools because we're paying to be there, or we've paid one large sum to be there for 365 days. And we don't know the next person that's living within the same region or same state as we are, So I just want to say, I'm proud of you, and that I can see us, like I'm gonna come to one of your facilities, I like to be one of those people that like to donate and whatever, and be like, hey, let's sponsor this kid because he or she needs this in 30 days or something like that. So I look forward to doing more business with you. I look forward to seeing bigger things popping. Now we get into the third quarter, so we gonna have a little challenge together, holding yourself accountable. Say, hey, by July, leading into August, where you at?
Yeah.
Because
I'm here for it.
the goal, one of the biggest things is a transition that you took on Leap of Faith. I'm on that same money train.
Yeah.
And so if I do that, I'm about to move some mountains, Jeremy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You got to.
For sure.
But if anybody wants to train and wants to know anything about you and get in touch with you, tell them how they can find you.
Yeah, so my name is Coach Bree. You can find me on all social media platforms at Breezy Fitco, BreezyFitco. I do online and in person. I'm actually starting a community for accountability. We have weekly co-working sessions. So if you would like to come, join the community, just message me on Instagram.
And just like that, follow Breezy. And I'd like to say thank y'all for tuning in to Real Shit Let's Talk podcast. I also want to say, too, I also do have an accountability community such as you. See, great minds think alike. And, hey, if you ever want to be a part of this accountability squad, let them tap in. It'll be right here or it'll be right there in the comments or something like that. You can tap in. But listen, guys, from one ear to the next, you can, you must, you will. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Check us out later.